Welcome to the Spiritual Relationship Podcast. My name is Ken Hanneman. I'll be your host. Today's topic is discovering your original self. This is very important in meditation. Meditation can be used for many things, as you know. People use it for relaxation, stress relief, etc. But meditation actually is more about self care, healing, and self transformation. In ancient time, actually, Raj Yoga meditation was used as a pathway to enlightenment because you need to go in to discover who you are. The physical world on the outside doesn't really tell you much about yourself as a spiritual being. They actually, it's very difficult to know the soul or to understand consciousness while still looking for knowledge from the outside world, because everything in the outside world is really about physical things, and the soul is more about understanding. It's more an inner experience. So in your meditation, we need to visualize the soul, and the way we start meditation is to visualize the soul as a point of light filled with energy, and it's a life force that is giving life to the body. It's sentient energy, meaning it's energy that know itself. It's I'm alive, I exist. Simple as that. But that one simple sentence, I'm alive, I exist, that is coming from you, the soul, not the body. Because the body is a physical entity, and it was born, it grows up, it goes back to the element after that. Now, going to the qualities of the original self, the first thing, the first experience is that of peace, that I exist, I am peace. You don't say, I have peace, you say, I am peace. Love and happiness is also an inherent quality of the soul, and we all long for it. We strive for it. Everything we do actually is to try to get it. But when you depend on physical things, it's very elusive. You get some things, but by nature, physical things have a limitation. So when you're going into understanding consciousness, or you're trying to understand who you are as this eternal entity, we need to understand that it has to come from this inner experience, because these are natural qualities to the soul. Every time you think this, try to feel what that peace feels like. I am peace. Feel it. What is peace? What does it feel like? Love. What does it feel like when I am loved, or when I love others? Gratitude. Say, if I'm grateful to the body, or to nature, to God, what does that feel like to you? It is the feeling you're going after. You're trying to create a feeling based on a thought that is in line with your true nature. So these are qualities within the self, and there's another quality to the soul. It has inherent wisdom in it. And a good analogy, a good example will be the seed. A seed is dormant, tiny, but yet within it has all the information that is necessary for it to germinate and to grow and to become a tree, to have fruits, and to share that with the world. The same with the soul. Within this consciousness of I am, you recognize when something is true, what is peaceful or love or happiness. You know that. So, like the seed, we have the capacity to create. And with every human being, we come into this world, and we can create our destiny. We experience relationships. We enjoy being in the body with nature. So there's a purpose for us being here, and that in one word can be happiness, right? So I would like to, a lot of that, some of the things that I'm saying here, I will repeat because in meditation, you need to use it and you need to memorize it so that you can know what to do as you go from one thought to the next in meditation. Because we're trying not just to mention the quality of the soul. We want to experience it. As we know, meditation, and there are many kinds of yoga or meditation out there, and there's the use of mantra, there's the use of maybe light or candles, or there are many different, and they all have benefit to it, and there's nothing wrong with trying to use it to see if it can get you to a stage of peace and relaxation and calm. But with Raj Yoga, we're trying to really understand who we are at a deeper level. In every class, I mentioned this, that the soul is, it's an energy, right? It is something that we need to remind ourselves that we are the soul and not the body. The soul can live without the body cannot live without the soul. So all these things that I said, just like repeat them and think about them in contemplate on them in meditation, and then you'll be able to separate out the awareness of the body and the soul. And that is really the aim in meditation, is for you to make this real, that I'm not the body. I am the soul, and my nature is peace, love, happiness, power, wisdom, bliss, actually. When you completely detach from the body, when I say detach, I mean like you're like not aware of it and you're into the self-awareness and you're totally into the peace and the feeling of love and a relationship with a higher power. You start to feel bliss. And bliss is, it's like a one word that encompasses all those other qualities of peace and happiness. You can't do things without the body. So when I'm in the body, I'm a human being. But when I'm out of the body or when there's separation or death, the soul exists, right? And it continues to exist, but it can't do anything as a human being. Because you really can't do anything. You can't talk, you can't see, you can't, you know, do anything without the body. So think deeply about these things. When we look at mind, intellect, and the memory, or sanskaras, these are aspects of consciousness that function within consciousness. They're not, the soul cannot be divided. But we do have a mind, we do have an intellect, the ability to discern and discriminate, and we do have a lot of memory. We have a lot of things that we have learned and a lot of habits and personality traits. And these are the things from where our thoughts come up. So that is also things that you can think about. What are my conscious mind? What are the thoughts that are coming up? Are they positive? They're negative? Are they helpful or not? And then to no matter what is in your memory, even though it's a very sad or traumatic event, it is possible for me to forgive or to let go, or because these things are affecting me in the present moment. So I don't want the past to continue to hurt me in the present. Because when I'm not happy and when I'm not empowered, when I feel like I have no control over my life or my mind, then you just feel like there's no purpose to life, basically. Sometimes some people have gone to that stage, and so you don't want to get there. So why not look at the mind and the intellect and even some of the things in your memory? It is possible for you to let go and for you to be free and for you to feel like you have the ability to change your life or to create a life of happiness. This ability to move away from your physical senses. When we talk of physical senses, we're talking about the eye, what comes through the eye, what we see, what we hear, what we read, what we're looking at on TV, the information that is entering into me. We have to remember every time we see, hear, think, the mind has to focus on it and visualize that. Or you're not just seeing with the physical eye. Your mind is, you can say, creating feelings and emotions and responses to it. And then it is creating a memory. So when you understand that process, you realize you have the ability to detach from or not engaging all this information that is coming at you. Especially now with the internet, there is so much going on, and a lot of it is negative. So why not protect yourself and cultivate a condition, a stage of peace and love, and like love of self? Stay focused on your true nature. Try to relive that. Try to rekindle that. Try to become, let that be more powerful than the old habits or old ways of thinking, right? The fact that I'm not a body, that I'm a spiritual entity is is really important. And to remember that if I look at where I am, I, the soul, my position in the brain or in the skull or whatever, it's right there at the base, right next to the pineal gland, right by the hippocampus, which process your emotions. So whenever we feel something or we have an emotion, then it becomes neurochemical, meaning like it affects your body. So if you're scared, if you're fearful, if you're stressed, if you have anxiety, your body is affected by that. And then you have organs that produce hormones. Like you have the adrenals that will produce adrenaline and cortisol. You have the amygdala, which creates, when you have a lot of fear, they say it tends to expand. And so these things are affecting the body. So it's really interesting to think of consciousness and the soul, that it, for the sake of your body and your health, you need to think a lot about what is this soul, what is consciousness. It's not a religious thing. It is actually, well, it's spiritual in the sense that it's not physical, but it's something that you can experience. It's real. You know that you're alive. You know you can think. You know you can make decisions. You can change. You can create habits. You can create good memories, or you can change bad ones. You have that power because you are responding to what is in you. You are seeing things on the outside through the filter of your past or through the filter of your knowledge and your past experiences. So let us now look at what is the nature of the soul. But now I'm going to include silence in this. Silence is, in spiritual terms, is not necessarily the absence of physical sound. I mean, we do need to probably step away from the noise of the world and find a quiet place to meditate. But also inside of us, when we have a lot of thoughts, we are actually, when the mind is crowded, it's filled with a lot of thoughts and emotions. And sometimes you're thinking so fast, you're feeling confused and stressed, and there's a lot of fear or anxiety. You are not able to even find solution. So in meditation, remember that your nature is divine, or like I said before, peaceful. If you look at those words, it actually means that they're positive, they're elevated qualities. We should also understand that we have a divine nature deep within us. And if you were to take away other people's opinion or what you've read in the scriptures or anything, you'll realize that there is a part of you deep down, I guess, because we have so much of the worldly stuff still in us, that compassion and empathy, or love, or selflessness, benevolence, these are divine qualities. And these are actually qualities that we admire and we desire and we wish we can have. Look how we look up to some of these great souls, like saints and swamis or whatever. We look up to these people. So why? Because we admire those qualities, right? Self-awareness, if you try to understand the true self, it is a state of like a self-awareness of presence. The conscious mind is thinking a lot, or ordinary thoughts, but internally you can identify with the one that is observing, that is detached, and that is observing the mind. There's a stillness there, there's a feeling of wholeness. When you can find that space of calm and peace and stillness within, you can observe how thoughts come up in the mind, in the conscious mind, and how, if you don't pay attention to it, how it goes away. And then another thought comes up. And if you get involved with, let's say, something happened yesterday or in the past that made you angry, someone did something that irritated you, or, something very negative, or like an insult or something. Whenever you relive that, whenever you bring that up in the conscious mind, you, when you get drawn back into it, and you're reliving it again, and you actually feel the emotions of fear or hate or anger, you are actually attached to that. You're not detached. You're not separate. You are under the control of that emotion. So it's really important to develop this power of discernment and detachment, because when you can observe something without judgment or without blaming yourself, then you're able to change it. Then it becomes possible. So, this is why we're trying to use meditation to, let's say, change a bad habit, to change, let's say, an impulsive behavior like getting angry. You're very sensitive and you get very angry, or you feel like you can't stand people, or you get so upset about something that it puts you in a state of sadness or depression. We have to learn how to detach from that and realize that is not who I am. That is a habit that I've learned while growing up and seeing others doing it, thinking that's the way to be. But if you're suffering, it is not. Right? If you look at your memories also, when we think we think that certain memories, or let me give you this example. Let's say you had in childhood, you had a friend and you think this is your best friend, and that you're going to be friend for the rest of your life, and you can't do without the person, or so on, right? But later on, as you grow up, life happens and you are not close to each other anymore, and everybody have their own life, and that memory goes away or fades, and you have new friends and so on. So you could see how memory, if you don't relive it or you don't pay attention to it, after a while it fades. And then in the present, you can create something new. So these are things about consciousness that we can use to our advantage in meditation. Know that it is possible to change anything. But also remember, many of the habits that we have, the negative habits we have been formed over a long time. So now when you're doing meditation, you need to persevere and to be determined and to remind yourself who you are really. So as you practice meditation and you get in touch with your peace, you'll see that even when there's noise, physical noise around, you will not be disturbed. You can develop this ability. What I want to do is to ask you to think about these things, but that your true self is that of peace and love, compassion, empathy, benevolence, sweetness. humility, because when you really examine these things, and if you were to stop the old opinions from coming up, the value system, if you change it and you're honest with yourself, in that moment of clarity, you'll be able to accept it. And then as you meditate and you develop it and you focus on it, it starts to grow. And then eventually you'll see that you will have control over anger, and you will get back to your true nature, to your original nature. And then your mind will be much calmer. Your mind will be less busy. Your ability to discriminate what is beneficial or not, what is good and what is bad, you would realize that you can use the relationship with a higher power to enhance this process. But you do get help and blessing, but you actually have to do something for it to become part of your memory or part of your personality. So it's not a question of someone above making it happen. They're waiting for something to happen to change them. It doesn't work like that in consciousness. Everything whoever we are right now, we created over a period of time through actual action. So now for us to change, it has meditation. The next step to meditation is actually taking that experience, the power from it, and changing your actions and your behavior and your words. And what you get as a result is a newness, a renewed personality, a being that can create a new destiny. And therefore, the world outside, even though the world is becoming chaotic, your journey, you know where you're going, you know your destination, and you don't allow the world to affect you. So I will close there. Remember that you are peace. Remember that you're love. Remember that you are the eternal energy. You are the power that enlightens, give life to this body, and you have the capacity to share this with the world. Thank you for listening. If you need information on free online classes and meditation commentary, go to the description below. You'll find the links. So thank you for listening, and goodbye.